Hello and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is Dave and I will be your keeper of arcane lore for this session of Call of Cthulhu. Today we are continuing our playthrough of Regency Cthulhu, and you can get your own copy of this book over at chaosium.com. You can find all of our VODs collected over on the Chaosium YouTube channel, and we do stream live each Friday over on the Chaosium Twitch, where there is a schedule there. I want to give a thank you to Roll20 and Sirenscape for being tools which we use to improve our game. And without further ado, we can swiftly return to the scenario at hand. Now, as evident, we are down a player this week. Well, that is to say, we've kind of cycled players a little bit. Jackson is back, but Art is away. Although I think next week the five of us will be returned together, thankfully, once more. So we're going to pick back up with Miss Radcliffe, who has returned back to the Potterton estate during the day while our other investigators were going through the woods that we saw last scenario. We'll then catch back up with Mr. Potterton, and that's interesting. Sorry, Alex, I've got the complete wrong name under you. I think it's an artifact from like a previous scenario. I don't know.
Herbert.
Herbert, I don't even remember who or what that is. It's also saying you're Jackson, so I'm sorry about that. I will try and
Remember when I
resolve
said I was going to
that.
steal your sweater, Jackson? The time is now.
Oh no.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the table and reintroduce our investigators, and during that, I'm going to try and give Alex the right name. So we'll start with Jackson, and feel free to vamp as much as you'd like. Jackson.
Hey, I'm Jackson, and here is a biography of my entire life from the moment of my birth to what led me now. It was a Monday, one warm January morning when I came into this world. Is that vamping enough?
This is good. This is good. This is great stuff.
But wrap the
I'm
story
Jackson.
up though. Just jump to.
And long story short, I'm playing Miss Jane Radcliffe, who is being played by Miss Molly Miss Molly Rowlands, undercover near Goodwell.
Oh yeah,
No, I was saying no
yeah.
good
I'm
Nick
with you.
and
I'm
ne'er
with
do
you.
well at the same time.
I like
I
it.
said near Goodwell, who is just here to survive, and if that's surviving with other people's money, then that's how it's done. But also, she's gotten tangled up in this nonsense with some sickness, sleeping sickness from another world, and it's just no good. So let's see what happens.
Fantastic, and just enough time for me to change the names across. Thank you, Jackson.
My pleasure.
Speaking of other worlds, let's go to Jim.
Sure, I'll take that. Why not? Hello, I'm Jim. I'm playing George Potterton, the most eligible bachelor in all of Tarryford, heir to a banking fortune, wannabe investigator, and currently, as all good eligible bachelors should be, standing in a basement surrounded by black slime. There's a hole in the wall, and we're going to go into it because there's evil things behind it, probably.
And that's what we do. That's right. Speaking of evil things behind you, let's go to Alex.
Hi. I'm Alex, and I'm playing the lovely Miss Emma Wentworth, who is as beautiful as she is out for vengeance, and currently staring into a hole from whence this sleeping sickness apparently came. And at the risk of spoilers, someone's going in that hole. Someone's going in that hole. Someone's going in that hole.
It was made for you. Fantastic.
It was
All right.
made me.
Terrific. These are our investigators, and first of all, let's check in with Miss Radcliffe, who we left, what was it, 2 scenarios ago, heading back to the Potterton estate. Now, you have borrowed Mr. Potterton's generously loaned carriage. It's a rather nice thing. He has relieved it of most of the armaments that was stored in the back, so he's taken the sort of like rifle and pistols and put them all on his own horse, and it's now being pulled by just a solo a horse that's taking you back home. It will be a sort of, about an hour's ride. You're a capable enough driver. Is there anything you do? So as you leave vision, as you see them heading back into towards Tarryford, you're going the sort of the southern route towards the Potterton estate. I guess also asking, where do you head? What do you actually do?
I think I am ready for a kip.
Okay,
Genuinely, it was the impression I got. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
still kind of wiped.
Yep.
So, to bed.
Okay,
For
so
a
actually
little
heading
bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but also I've got the vague awareness that my brother Arthur is getting impatient, getting itchy feet. He and the blistered heels have very itchy feet. And maybe staking out the Potterton estate any moment, because I think he told me that tomorrow was the day that
That's right.
some kid's going to get napped.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so it's apt you think of this because as you head towards the Mortview house where the Pottertons stake their claim, and as you begin to pull along it, you're sort of watching along the side, and you will see a horse has been tied up on the sort of edge of the property. Now, easily this could be someone heading further along or who's just like stopped to check on things, but you'll also, I don't know if you were there for it, but for the previous encounter, but regardless, you would recognize this as Arthur's horse. There is no immediate sign of Arthur himself, but it looks as though it has been tied up in a sort of like underneath a stand of trees, and where there is a fence line that runs along and could easily be crossed to get into some of Mr. Potterton, that being George's father's fields, where in the distance you can see a few farmhands and things tending to the land.
Good.
Feel free to tell them to tend harder if they're not doing it enough. There you go.
Am I driving alone?
You are.
See, I'm driving the carriage. I'm
Well.
alone. Guess I'll just stop and have a look around, see if I can spot him.
Okay. You pull the carriage to a stop,
Yeah,
ease it off the side of the
I'd-
road, and step out.
I'd know what his game plan is. Surely I'd know what his playbook is like.
So regularly you would, but you've been kind of you've pushed like the deadline and things, so he's beginning to get a little bit more trigger happy, a little like he's not running to the plan anymore. This was not a part of it. This was never one of the steps to be taken. It looks as though he is escalating. That said, his previous threats were looking to abduct Mr. Potterton's younger siblings, the twins, and hold them ransom. This could be him staking out that plan, looking for a weakness. Coming in the daylight seems a little brash, even for him. But if he saw Mr. Potterton at the tavern this morning, he may be assuming that he's not currently in.
All right. Well, if his horse is nearby, I mean, if his horse is here, he must be nearby. I'm not going to attract any attention. I guess I'll have a wander around, see if I can pick up his trail.
Oh.
I can imagine he's like just like sneaking through the fields and the brush and looking for a tree to climb and stake out the place. Is that? That's
probably not too far. You pull over,
That is
and
enough?
as you step down, what do we see as Miss Radcliffe kind of becomes Molly once more? Do you arm yourself? Do you sort of hike up your dress? Do you transform in any particularly visible way, or do you maintain this illusion for as long as possible?
I mean, once I'm off the road and away from the carriage, yeah, it's just like get down low, kind of cat burglar mode, stalking through the brush in the field, almost kind of like blending into the landscape.
Yeah.
She's not acting anymore, but I think she's also gonna be okay at not getting seen. As I glance at my character sheet and see stealth 35, so maybe this is a terrible idea.
Oh, yeah, there's something there. So what would you like to give me? I can see spot hidden here. I can definitely see track. I could also see stealth for just trying to sort of get, hide and maybe see if they come back.
Psychology to know my own brother. What he would be doing.
Yeah.
Where's his favorite hiding spots?
I tell you what, it's going to be hard, but I can see psychology.
Okay, well, spot hidden it is.
Okay, go for a spot hidden roll, please.
If we're playing numbers games, it's spot hidden.
Play a numbers game.
I spot all that is hidden.
Okay. You park your own carriage and hop off. The horse sort of huffs as you approach, but doesn't start at you. You can see that it has a saddlebag tied over it, and there is a large bundle off to the side where some tools and things could be kept. no sign of its owner. There are footprints around the side. It looks as though it's more than just one, but tracking isn't exactly your field of expertise. And as you go out, you don't see any immediate sign of your brother, but what you do spot is the sun is just beginning to get towards setting now. It's getting into evening. It's filtering through one of the trees nearby, and as you pause just underneath it before you approach, you notice that the silhouette on one of the branches is of a figure seated. And as you look up, you'll spot the rather nasty character that made the acquaintance of Mr. Potterton earlier. This sort of like long, like wearing like a long trench coat down the side and with a sort of greasy little like switch knife peeling away at an apple, has seated himself in the tree and is sort of keeping an eye on the situation. With your approaching carriage, there's no way you haven't been spotted, but he's moderately well hidden and probably believes that he hasn't been spotted yet either. It's kind of a standoff.
The fool. Is it just him?
Just him that you can see.
So I get the sense he's written here on this horse, on Arthur's horse.
No, not necessarily. You saw that it looks as though there were multiple sets of footprints here. Would have made his way on foot.
All right, what's this guy's name again?
This is Baxter.
He doesn't look like a Baxter. You know what? If I'm close enough, I'm going to toss a rock at the back of his head. Just for fun.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
He thinks he's fairly well hidden, and he's probably watching your silo as well. You rear back, toss a rock, and it ricochets off the side of his head and off into the tree away. He starts, the apple drops down to the ground where it rolls in the dirt, and you hear a little sneer of disgust from above. Oh, what are you that for?
That was a musket. You'd be dead by now.
You musket, you shouldn't be shooting at friends. He starts to clamber his way down, rights himself and sort of tucks at a sort of like a dirtied little almost like bolo tie-esque thing around his shirt. As he comes towards you, he's holding the switchblade like balanced in his hand. It's not threatening, but he's certainly armed, and he doesn't immediately move to put it away now that the apple is disposed. If anything, actually, he goes towards the apple, crouches down, and begins to dust it off on the side of his shirt. It's still good enough to eat.
You think these farmhands have got something in their pockets, do you? That's how far you've fallen? Gonna shake down a couple of cowpokes now, are you?
Don't see you bringing in any coin, Mole. It's been a
look,
while.
It's a long game. It's a long game. Good things come to those who wait, Baxter. Not that I expect you to understand that.
We've been in those woods for weeks now, pushing on to months. This is supposed to be a big hit. Understand?
Yeah.
Big hit.
And the longer you wait, the bigger it gets. That's how it works. If you're going to give up now, no worries. On your bike.
I'm not so sure these people have great money, Mole. I think you're just prancing around in fancy dress, having fun, aren't you? Going to balls and things. Meeting with the highfalutin society. You've forgotten where you came from, Mole.
It's a great time, isn't it? Wearing a corset that chokes me after death. Having a swim in these perfumed little galleries. You choke down the sense of money and entitlement. Yeah, it's a great time.
I'm so sorry for you. While we're camping out there in those stinking woods, pinching chickens from mad women to feed ourselves. It's tough, Mo. It's real tough. I tell you what, Arthur's run out of patience. Things are going to be happening soon. Those little rat kids, they'll give coin for them. They'll pay up. Yeah.
Unless you find something better.
Better?
Yes, I've already found something better.
Have you now?
Maybe.
Well, maybe he's not good enough at this point, Mole. We're going to need certainties. We're going to need guarantees.
I can give you better than that. You can see it with your own eyes if you like. Tonight, you and a couple of boys, all quiet like, sticking this little cabin off the grounds.
Here.
Just see what you find.
On the
Up at the
property.
estate. Yeah. Yeah. You're going to want to see it before you have a go at the kids, all right? Kids are risky. You take the kids, they're going to have the dogs and the coppers after you. Just sneak in and out, not being seen. It'll be a much easier time for everyone. Just have a look is what I'm saying. Because I've been here for a while. And like I said, longer the job takes, the bigger the haul.
He steps right up towards you, and you can hear him wetly chewing on the apple as he approaches. We can check it out. Sure.
Reckon you better head.
But listen here, Mole. I'm not worried about coppers. And I'm not worried about dogs. We'll kick 'em. We'll stab 'em. We'll shoot what we need to. We'll get what we came here for. We're in too deep now, okay? This is the last chance. We look tonight. Tomorrow morning, we act. You understand?
Yeah.
Arthur
And I
told
reckon
me
what your
special.
act will be, just take what you find in that cabin, get out of town. Payday.
Right. The message from Arthur is, we get the kids tomorrow. The message from me, Mole, is you better not fuck us on this. Because I think you've gotten cozy in corsets. I think you think you're safe in them. I think you think your friends mean you're better than us. And I'm telling you, Mole, I don't care who your brother is. You go soft, you'll get stabbed.
Last thing I am is soft, mate. I don't think you could last a day inside those walls.
He goes to, like, check you. Like, he darts forward for a second. It's a fake out. You're pretty sure of it. Can you give me, like, intimidation or something to, like, basically stand your ground? And I can also see psychology to read him. Just a skill test to kind of just riposte this dude's little bluff.
I got higher psychology, but I like intimidate.
Yeah, me too. I really like intimidate
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
come on.
He steps forward at you, and you do take like a half step back. And what you said, you're right. Like in the corset, in the sort of like raised shoes and things, you're not in your element. And he's kind of got the jump. You take a half step back, twist a little bit in the mud, and you can see him taking it for the victory. He holds the knife just like pointed directly at your chest, and then closes it and slides it into his pocket. Don't forget it, Mole. Eat tonight. And he steps back towards the tree.
I got nothing more to say to him.
Okay. He steps back towards the tree. He's going to stay here and wait. Arthur's presumably somewhere scouting out the area. The message will be delivered. You
Good.
can describe the location of the summer house. It's kind of obscured behind a stand of trees, but you can mark it out and they should be able to find it.
I should have mentioned the slab as well, because
Yes.
divides.
You can say like bring a crowbar or something. You're gonna need to lift something heavy.
Yeah.
All
That's
good
it.
things and everything. Yeah. Okay.
I just want to see what happens.
Yeah.
And if
100%.
a couple of them go missing, then
So be
that
it.
buys me a little bit more time.
Okay. From there, you can return to the Potterton estate. It's not much further along. As you approach Mortview House, you will see some of the kids racing about, and once again, you're reminded of actually, it won't. They are completely unsuspecting. The kids are racing unsupervised between the trees, the two young twins, and at one point, you actually think you can spot a silhouette, distant, standing against the sun, so it's hard to make out details of what might be a farmhand or one of the staff members standing tall and watching them, or it might be Arthur staking out his claim. But by the time you're able to sort of focus on it, whoever it is has stepped away and kept on moving. Heading inside, you can say that you need some much needed rest, and genuinely you do. If you kind of relax during the evening, you should be able to finally get the head of this sickness and begin to recover. You'll probably actually, the timing might not just work out, but we will loop things together that a runner will arrive shortly, probably as you're resting, and deliver the message that Mr. Potterton has some news to share this evening. It's a family affair and everyone's to be gathered so that they can meet over dinner. But the invitation's kind of extended through to you as well, Miss Radcliffe, as a intermittent guest. So you expect he will be here after supper.
Very good.
Okay. From here you can rest. Roll back into bed and return to slumber. Okay. We will leave Miss Radcliffe there and return to our two investigators down in the cellar of the Four Feathers Inn. You've gotten so the two of you sort of like moved the two bodies towards the side. You can feel the smell, that cold rush of the cellar beneath the cellar. Mr. Potterton is sort of like pacing a little bit back and forth while Miss Wentworth busies herself just inspecting the bodies and seeing that sort of trail where this black ichor spread up towards it and sort of dabbing some of it away from the mouth so none is presently entering their system. When a runner returns delivering the message from your fiancé, the Reverend, that through some sort of lightly veiled code, Dr. Parsons has fallen asleep and will not wake. Through his notes, others have also fallen into slumber over the past day's events. And lastly, Abigail Parsons, the doctor's wife, is intending to escalate this to the local judge, Mr. Ashford, in the next morning. Your fiancé is planning to stay at the Parsons estate, help out the doctor, and go over his notes to see if he learned anything else. He will also stay there so that if Abigail meets with Mr. Asher, there is one of your voices in the room too. So he's kind of isolating himself to deal with that.
Yeah. Controlling the narrative a little.
That's right. Very quickly. It is Asher, sorry, not Ashford. So the two of you have done some basic blocking off of the hole, like you've moved a couple of things in the way so that no one's going to stumble in it. You both will continue to remark, though, that the ichor from like the inside is going up the ceiling of it, just dropping over the crack and then dropping down into this pool, which is spreading very, 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 very slowly out throughout this space.
We've kind of dammed it up with like drop cloths and as much as we can.
Yeah. And you're keeping, you're being careful not to step into it or get any of it on your skin. So you've gotten word from the Reverend. What would the two of you like to do? As we head into evening and nightfall will come not too long after.
I'm going to look at the hole. And I'm going to look at George. And I'm going to look at the hole. And I'm going to look at George. And look back at the hole.
I'll take 3 or 4 times before I go, oh, okay. Yes, no, that's quite... all right.
I mean, at this point, I just don't see an alternative, George.
No, that makes sense. No, it's very smart. Yes.
We've tried everything else. We've spoken to everybody we can. This is where it's coming from. This is where it started with the innkeeper.
It makes sense.
Attempts to plug it up seems to have failed, and then Tom is a very, very good handyman. He has restored all sorts of things around my own estate. If he succumbed to this, he's a careful man. I just don't see an alternative, is what I'm saying.
It's got to be exposure related. We should be able to, as long as I wrap up well, maybe if you have a shawl, I could try and plug any gaps and I'll head in. If I fall asleep, or God knows, maybe I can, if I'm transported to the dream space, I'll try and find the lake. We know the steps at least.
We know what to do, right?
If everything goes wrong, I think your best bet will be to try and frame, well, this might not be framing. We've got access to those books. Pin all of it on the thief. At the very least, we'll be able to distract any fallback that should strike onto our families.
Yes, well, you must apologize, George. I was not thinking of your family as my own is.
I understand.
Rather diminished, but that is a consideration that I apologize for not having taken into consideration.
That's quite all right and understandable. I'll see if I can find a spare towel, and then I'll go in, I suppose.
I wonder if the handyman would have had something with them, like heavy canvas things to just for when they were working on things.
There were some tarps and things laid out. Most of those are currently damming up the puddle to stop it from going further. A quick look into the cavern sees that this tunnel sort of goes down a ways underneath the earth. It's going away from the cellar, so sort of like it's not like looping back down and going deeper. It's going sort of like at an angle, deeper under the ground. What size are you, Mr. Potterton?
I am size 60.
Okay. You are too large to just stick to the edge and completely avoid it. You will have to go underneath the dripping. Basically, that means it is going to be by just vanilla, a dex roll to keep yourself clear of it and kind of keep yourself pressed against the side as you move through. Were you smaller by a decent chunk, you're ways off it, you might be able to slide through without issue. Beyond that,
I'm
though,
only size 50, so
the cutoff is going to be size 45 for a gimme. But Miss Wentworth, yours is certainly easier. As Mr. Potterton, you're just a little larger, sliding along it through.
I'm probably gonna squint into the hole. Mr. Potterton, do you think I should get my gun?
I think that would be wise. Yes. Let's make sure we're well equipped at this point.
I mean, it won't do any good in the Dreamlands, although maybe it will. We don't know what we can take with us.
Hopefully, I'll be right back out and we'll have some more information.
Yes.
We need to be also ready for someone to come in at any point and disturb us at an inopportune time.
That's true.
So one of us should definitely stay at the top. I'll go. That'll work. All right. I think I have the bag containing all of our weapons, so I make sure that the two of us are equipped. And once we're all plastered up,
I just need a shotgun. That's all I need.
It's a pretty effective weapon. I mean, I got a sword.
Classic.
If we're in a fight, I'm betting on you. Very quickly, just before I dive into the proverbial fountain of dark ichor, it's not a proverb, but I'll take it. When I was with the doctor doing experiments on this stuff, I didn't get any kind of it responds to fire a little bit, cold water. There's no way I can scare it a little bit. No. Okay. In which case, there's nothing for it.
You believe this there's no intelligence beyond it. You'd have no reason to suspect there might be. There is, through religious, you maybe think that there's something there. The cold, maybe you got some light, like it would develop sluggishness. It is a liquid, and as it begins to turn towards a solid state, it would probably slow down.
Can I?
And so probably heat it up. It might begin to run faster, and possibly could even turn gaseous if you really push it.
I just prepare myself, but we are in the basement and we're surrounded by foodstuffs. Can I make I don't think I know this, so it makes sense that I have to make a natural philosophy roll or something. I know that a lot of common household cooking things don't mix well with water. Can I emulsify myself to literally just cover my?
You can cover yourself in oil with an attempt to give yourself a give me
Grease him up.
What I'm really what I love is a cooking, an art craft cooking roll or something. Try natural philosophy though, to see if you can find some defense. That isn't better than just putting the hood up on your jacket.
That's very reasonable. I think let's just go with the hood. I pick up a thing of olive oil and ponder it for a bit and then go, you know what, this is too much. I'm just gonna get in there. I'd rather die.
You pull your jacket up, put it up, and you've got one of those, I imagine those little cravatty things, the silks that tie that around your neck so there's nothing there. You then take a scarf or shawl and pull it around your head, or you probably have a hat on, honestly. You could pull that on and then tie it off. You do your best attempt at damming up the easily accessible areas, but there's still when you hold the lantern up, there's a run underneath your jacket that would then lead down. Stepping out into the rain, you might eventually get wet, and there's a chance that this gets you too. As you get towards the edge and crouch down, you begin to kind of pull yourself around the edge and then drop down into this awkward little cavern. The very first entry point, you're going to need to go in face or butt first, and then you're not confident you'll be able to turn around. So would you like to commit one way or the other? If you go backwards, you're kind of just feeling your way in. You won't be able to see, but you might make the escape easier, or something might grab at your little toesies.
I think I'm going to go in face first. I think that I need to see something here. Otherwise, I'm having to turn around or something. If I'm getting hit, I'm getting hit.
Okay.
What would the captain do?
Yeah.
face first into the breach. Miss Wentworth helps by holding your feet as you get towards the edge, and then you begin to pry yourself in and drop down onto the ground, and then pull yourself forward. You can feel that, or you can sort of hear very faintly that running ichor just above you that begins to drop down, and inch by inch, you squeeze yourself deeper into the breach. You have a little lantern housed in glass that you're clinking along in front of you, and occasionally it sort of like just dinks against one of the rocks or something, and you pause, worried that the housing might shatter, but it holds still, and the little candlelight flickering just in front of you lights the way. It's tough to see, as with the light before you, your main focus is on it, and beyond it seems the darkness. But when you hold it towards the side, you can see that this tunnel descends some short distance down into the earth, and then appears to be already opening up. As you make this trek, however, I'm going to need you to make a dexterity roll to keep yourself to the side and away from this dark substance.
Absolutely. In the spirit of taking every advantage I possibly can, I've got climb that is only marginally lower than my dexterity. Would there be any shape here where I could potentially get a bonus die or something if I actually tried to, like, not just walk or skate through, but actually like
fully
pull myself
go along the sides? I like the idea. It's your size kind of prohibits a good
Makes
degree of it. If there were a little more space, it'd probably do more. I think in this one, just give me a straight dexterity roll.
Let's go for it. Hard success.
Okay. You keep yourself pried along to the side, and you keep, you actually almost like twist yourself over, so that a lot of time you're looking up and at an angle at the line above, and then squeezing yourself past, so that you are pretty confident that none of it drops onto you, although occasionally a little, like, you know, balloon of it will fall to the ground and splatter just underneath and then begin to rise back up the sides. You're confident you avoid it, and after some long 5 or so minutes, you've squeezed yourself 10 meters under the earth, and Miss Wentworth's occasional check-ins are now echoing and muffled as they come down deep under the ground. It's cold down here, horrendously so, and the ichor has turned to like a very sludgy creation that sort of almost like seems to be like pooling its way up the side and then towards the roof in thick globs and rivulets. There is an emptiness inside here that as you exhale your breath, it's as if you're pushing it out into a void. You have to almost force the exhale, and then drawing in, it's like you're no mountain climber, but as you might imagine those that experience high summit peaks where the oxygen is much thinner, it's like there's less substance here for you to draw on. You have to take these big sort of like heaving bellowed breaths to fill your lungs and to take in the space, but you can breathe. What you are in is a small chamber that you wouldn't be able to stand fully up in. It's maybe, I want to say 4 or 5 feet tall, and it's probably about 10 feet wide. It was clearly created, not just naturally found. There's stones pushed up against the sides, and they're also like smooth faced. It wasn't. It's of a like historical design though. This is something that was probably like the tribes that lived here before the Romans arrived would have created. This wasn't a brick crafted structure. In the center of it all, there is a well with a raised lip that goes around it, and a thick pool of this black ichor inside it. One angle of the well has been chipped away and broken. The rubble lies scattered around on the ground nearby, and that is where this black substance is pooling from and beginning to climb up towards the surface. All around the well, you can see that same symbol you've seen previously, that sort of like ripple in water, that O with lines on it, and then around the around the sides of the this subterranean cavern, you can see it inscribed 4 more times, much larger. You will quickly realize from your own estimation coming down, they are indicating the cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. Can I get you, do you have any, I want to say natural world, anthropology, do you have any skills that you want to try and apply to this situation?
Sure, I have a couple I'll suggest. Glancing around, first of all, I've got occult above base.
Okay.
I have natural philosophy. I do have some natural world, I believe, as well. Let me just confirm that. Yeah, I do have natural world. I also, in the back of my mind, George can't help but think, is this a vault? I know it was in the paper, this was below the temple, but I've seen enough vaults, even some of older make, because they're still around. I can't help but think if this is like a sealed chamber.
Yeah, a cult would get you a ride on that, certainly.
All right, fantastic. I'll have a shot with occult or natural world higher if you want me to do that instead. But if I've got multiple shots,
I tell you, I have different information for both. Why don't you give me a natural world roll first, and then let's do a cult following.
Perfect. The natural world is a failure.
Okay. The thing I'll tell you on the natural world is this all appears quite old, and you don't believe anyone's been like. It looks as though this was created, like I said, this is not just a natural cavern that's happened to turn into this shape. It's definitely been built and some time ago. No real more information beyond that.
Understood. Occult's coming up. Failure as well.
Okay.
I'm just hushed there, slowly forcing myself to faintly breathe Rule Britannia under my breath.
As you're trying to inhale, you like the idea of a vault or something like hidden away, secured, is in your mind. You feel claustrophobic down here. You begin to feel trapped. You're constantly looking over your shoulder at that small passage that leads up towards the surface. It arcs just enough that you can't see any light from there. And you're beginning to have this like voice in the back of your head that's telling you that if the light drops and if the candle goes out, you'll be trapped in here. You won't be able to find that exit again, and there's no chance that you won't get smeared in that black substance. Maybe the entire tunnel will simply vanish and you'll be imprisoned down here below the earth. You have to keep on sort of like checking in on your lantern, double checking it, triple checking it, making sure that you're okay.
I think I have a scratching or a writing as well of the Teleri note, and I keep sort of muttering and kind of glancing at it as I go. Talking about, I have two last things I want to try before I get the hell out of here. Would you let me quickly glance at the cardinal directions? Mm-hmm. If Captain Stone were here, he'd be able to use some kind of artillery nonsense to triangulate locations. Is that roughly the direction of like? I try to just like cross-reference our guess of where the various bits are.
Yeah, so that would be if you give me a hard intelligence roll, I can
Sure.
help you with that.
I think that's going to be much easier than my 10 in Navigate. Failure by 6.
Unfortunately, not.
Like that.
Down here. Oh well, so I need a hard to really get a lot of information from down here. It's you genuinely can't tell. You're pretty sure they're cardinal. You know you're approximately in the center of town, but exact you're not sure. As you go over towards them as well, you begin to, whenever you like focus in on these symbols, they begin to ripple somewhat, and you can feel yourself being drawn in towards them. Before I ask you to make a power roll, you can see that each of the symbols on the cardinal directions are set into heavy stones that look as though they are placed in what may be doorways or blocking tunnels that go elsewhere. But that said, they're not doors. They're like stones heaved in front of it, not intended to move. I don't believe you've been drawn. I don't think you've seen this symbol before, actually. I think you've been absent from each event.
I have never seen the symbol as far as I'm aware. It's completely been avoided to me. I think even in the discussions, I haven't been shown someone who has sketched it.
With that in mind, I'm going to need you...
Even when it was drawn on the dirt, it was brushed out before it was completed.
I think with that in mind, I'm going to need you to make a power roll. As you see this, it ripples and begin to feel yourself being drawn in towards it.
Magic's not real. I succeed.
You feel like a lurching in your stomach, and you exhale, and you almost have to like step forward to catch your breath and pull it back into your lungs. You feel as though you want to tumble forward into this ripple and then fold out on the other side, but you're able to sort of shake yourself loose and stand back. If you wish, though, you can tumble forward through it.
I am not going to tumble forward through it. I think that I know enough about the getting trapped somewhere at this point that I don't want to fall. I also think I have an immediate visceral reaction. So before I try and scramble back and tell what I found, as I feel myself getting sucked in, I clasp my hand around one of the handles of Captain Stone's pistols, and reflectively, I just shoot the wall. I think I fire a gunshot at the. Like I'm thinking like
Yeah, hell yeah,
maybe I
hell yeah,
scratch it
that
up,
rules.
and it's too much in my head, so I just shoot it.
Yeah, you reach out, pull your gun, and fire it. As it glances into the rock, it chips away some of the stone, and that symbol, like, cracks ever so slightly, and there's now a little divot in it towards the edge. You step back from it, pointing the gun forward, your sort of lantern swinging in the air, and as smoke fills the air around you, you breathe in deeply, and you only can smell like gunpowder and shrapnel. When you look down, your foot is firmly planted in some of that like black gunk, and where there was one hole in the well, you can now see a tiny little crack in another side where it's just now beginning to bubble over and spill down towards the ground.
Oh no, I did the thing that we're not meant to. This is the problem.
Miss Wentworth, from your perspective, you hear
Did I hear
hear a gunshot go off from underneath. It's muffled enough that probably the people upstairs wouldn't have.
Good.
Just going in.
Okay.
Heck
All right.
yeah.
You pull yourself forward, drop down into the tunnel,
I'm a
and
coward
begin.
up to a point.
There's a limit to these things, and begin to pull forward. Can you also give me a dexterity roll?
No?
Okay. You're pretty sure you're okay.
72? Great.
You're
thanks,
small.
great,
You keep
thanks.
yourself to the side. You pull your way through, and you merge out into this tiny cavern, the same way I described Mr. Podgson. He is currently standing in the center, heels right up against this like well in the center of it. It's low. It's only like 6 inches off the ground. This little, and then it presumably goes deeper down in the actual hole. But like the wall, the barrier around it is very low, with more of these symbols inscribed within it. There's a large crack where a lot of it's seeping out, and a smaller one directly behind his feet that is just now trickling down into the ground. Mr. Potterton has the lantern held aloft, focusing on the what would probably be the northern wall, his gun faced towards it, and he's so precariously balanced that you're worried a thin breeze would knock him backwards, and then he would like tabletop, you know, when you like stand behind your friend and push them over straight into the well as he's holding it from, and for a second you sort of like catch your breath. What do the two of you do?
I've made a terrible error in judgment.
I would like to stabilize, like rush forward and kind of like prop him up, like, oh god.
Sort of reach forward and pull him away. Mr.
Yeah.
Potterton, as you sort of like reholster your gun and take it in, you see the faintest little drop of black liquid in Miss Wentworth's hair from the root just dangling down towards one of the tips.
Yeah, that was that failed dex roll, thanks.
I don't say anything yet. I say, let's get back out.
Back out. What did you do?
The problem is the symbols are broken. I broke one of them again. I thought that would help. It's what happened. It's made it worse. One of the symbols must be broken.
Okay, so we put the symbols back up. So we carve them back in. The bits that are broken, we carve them back in.
Yes. We'll need to prepare. We'll need your.
We don't have time.
We need to get him.
Are there any tools down here from when they were first left from?
They didn't make it down. Oh, no, completely empty.
In my head I want to try and get Miss Wentworth out as quickly as possible because I don't know what's going to happen next.
Also, I do have gloves on as well, so
you do
as a lady.
Yeah, there's a droplet on your hair, and I'm sort of thinking, I'm like, if I grab it, it's going to knock into. It's a little bit like you spot a spider on somebody. I think
But
you know what?
haven't told me.
I haven't told you yet because I know you're gonna freak out. I would assume. So here, I just act. I think I point towards the symbol that I shot, and I say, "Do you still feel the magic draw from it?"
Do you turn and look into it?
My power is so fucking low.
I'm actually going to,
I would have under my own steam, but with George saying, "Do you still feel that?" I probably would steel myself and like glance at it, like just a quick
so
like out of the corner of my eye.
you can
Because
see
I
that.
have fallen into one of these before.
I think you've fallen into it twice now.
Yes,
or
I
was it Miss
have.
Radcliffe that went in twice? So yeah, you can feel as you look at it, you can feel it's like a 3D image that you need to like unfocus to see. It's immediately like it begins to like once your gaze finds it, it magnetically locks in and begins to like fill your vision. You can rip yourself away. If you want to look at it, it will be. I will ask for a power roll. I'm going to ask for a power roll regardless in a moment as the two of you are in this space. But if you're sort of catching it and trying to look in, you can do that first. Otherwise, any of the rolls that Mr.
rolls, or is this just the one that I make?
This would be the separate things happening.
I don't really want to look at it because that's stuffed me up before. And she knows that, and she's like, "If you still feel it, then I'm gonna believe you."
I think
you can as you look past it, you definitely feel the draw. As soon as you like begin to look towards it.
Yeah, no.
I think for context, my goal was going to be, I was going to say, look at that, and then hope that you looked over there, and then I was going to try and get my parrying dagger and just wick a lock of your hair off, to make just press it and hope that would be the quickest way. I actually have sleight of hand.
Yeah. Do you want to give me a sleight of hand skill? I love that. That's great.
Because I'm definitely like stealing myself and trying to look but not look.
Yeah, I was hoping that if you'd looked away, it might have given me some advantage, but I don't think you have necessarily done so. So I'll just make a straight roll. Here we go. Nope, and not luckable.
You go for it, but your arms get. You can also see that it's already made some contact. There's like that smudge just along the side.
Just a slight smudge. We need to get out. We need to make sure you don't
smudge of what? What are you talking about?
The two of you suddenly feel like a waft of cold. Something bubbles up from inside the well and begins to fill the space inside as though you're in a bubble with no breath. Can both of you immediately make power rolls for me as you stand facing one another in this... as you crouch facing one another in this tiny, vacuous cavern.
I'm distracted. George just came at me with a knife. Whatever this cold thing is, I'm less concerned about.
Mr. Potterton.
Power roll, but it's luckable.
You feel as though something is set into your lungs, your stomach. You begin to feel sort of like the desire to like crouch yourself down under, find any warmth still in your body and preserve it. You are trapped down here, you're certain of it, imprisoned inside these walls. Your hand begins to shake rapidly, and if you fail this, the lantern is going to be let go as you drop it, releasing it from your grasp down towards the ground. Miss Wentworth can attempt to catch it. She also has a lantern of her own, but such is the risk. And you can feel like this pressure of being trapped, locked inside.
I think I dropped the lantern. I won't luck this.
You drop the lantern and it crashes onto the ground and is immediately snuffed. The only light is now from Miss Wentworth's lantern, who, holding it up, you can see past Mr. Potterton, who's standing there, having dropped the lantern and his parrying dagger relaxed in his grip and tumbling towards the ground already. Behind him, in the pool, you can see a sheen of matte black liquid now has begun to turn almost opalescent, like gasoline spilled along the road, and through that sheen you can just make out what looks as though something moving underneath it all.
Ooh, hate that. Still stuck on, why did you come at me with a dagger? What do you mean I've got a smudge? A smudge of what?
You've got it on you. We need to get out.
For God's sake, and I'm going to thrust the lantern at him and reach into the belt pocket that I've got and pull out my little sewing scissors.
Yep.
And just take that whole bit of hair off.
Oh, hell yes. Yep.
And with the corner of one of my gloves, scrub that off and then ditch the glove.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Amazing.
As fast as I can.
You grab it up in the glove, cut a lock off, and then just take the whole thing. And where do you cast it? Do you throw it into the well behind you? Do you drop it onto the ground? Do you drop it in the on top of the snuffed candle just underneath?
Well, it's probably when you take your glove off and it's inside the glove.
Yeah.
Anyone who's dyed their hair will know this trick. You pull the glove off and make sure it's completely inside out. There's no hair dye floating around. So it is it has got a bit of heft to it now. So I reckon I just yeet as far as I can. Like
Just
get
onto the
roll.
other side of
I don't
the...
know that there is a direction. There is no purpose here. It's just like
You
get
just
it gone.
hurl it across the cavern and slams against the wall on the far side and drops down into the ground.
It's like with a
You
wet.
need to roll art, craft, hairdressing.
We're definitely going to do a fashion roll on
there's
the
no
other
craft
side.
To be clear, this looks bad. There is no craft involved here. But there's now something moving out from the water.
You can see like a
liquid?
sheen that's done it, and it looks as though there is movement from within it. Yes.
Cool. Well, it's a good thing that I have both hands free now. I'm gonna rack the shotgun.
Okay. You now one bare hand on the around the barrel. You cock back the hammer and level it towards the well. This sheen all across it. You can just detect movement underneath, as though there are sort of like thick tadpoles underneath the surface that are also black and barely perceptible amongst the rest of it, pushing up against the edge and beginning to team around. It looks as though it is reacting somewhat to the two of yours presence.
Let's go get those tools, George. Let's go. Back and out.
Yeah, back.
Okay. You begin to back your way back the way you came and away. Mr. Potterton, I imagine, is the first out as Miss Wentworth has the shotgun leveled behind you. And as you both retreat, I'm going to need each of you to make dexterity rolls. We'll do so with... no, I think they're going to be straight rolls. You knew it was there last time. It's not a change of circumstances. It's the same problem.
I'm terrified that Miss Wentworth has been infected and therefore we're going to lose the information. Can I reach into my satchel and jam my hand down on my stimulant to try and give myself a bonus die?
To do what?
I'm thinking dexterity. I'm literally hyped up to the literally.
Yeah, and you just want to try and rush it? Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to think of if it's more of a delicate thing. In the context of the play,
it probably is a more delicate thing, but I'm up for it if you want to try and just take the stimulant, keep yourself. Yeah, actually, nothing's drawing you into slumber here. It's more like carefully pushing against the side so nothing trips on you. Probably the stimulant would, if anything, probably work against you. Sorry.
In which case, let's not do that. Drugs aren't always the answer.
Just most of the time. All right, if you want to do yours first.
Oh, anyway.
Oh, I should have used drugs.
I'm lucking that one. I've got the luck. That one's lucking.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so you can spend 6 points to merge back out the other side. Mr. Potterton, you
Not failing that twice.
come out first inside the cellar. You had previously done an impromptu lock on the door, so no one has come in or necessarily tried. You merge back out. There is no detectable growth in the pool, and you can reach back and help Miss Wentworth out behind you. As soon as you're back in the cellar, what first felt like dingy basement air now feels full with life in comparison. Like you're breathing much better. You're inhaling more deeply. You can smell things again. You realize that while you were down there, you don't know if it's your memory or if it was actually happening, but everything was black and white. Even where the lantern was touching it, there was no color. And you can now see Miss Wentworth's eyes reflecting those little flecks of green inside them again. The colors of her dress are all back. It's as if they were washed away down there, as if there was nothing left inside. Just it leached from you. No sense of smell, your sight muted. Sound even was just like bland, barreled text. Empty.
Well, how do you feel? Are you all right? Are you feeling tired? I did start waving my hands in front of your face helpfully.
I feel awful. I feel absolutely bloody awful, George. Let's get those tools and get back in there and get those symbols back up on the wall.
Wait. If we rush back in, we need to put a moment of planning. We at least need to write down what we found so that others can attempt to replicate this if we fail.
Yes, of course.
There's another thing. While I was in there, I saw the 4 symbols. None of them were damaged. When I damaged one, it started to leak, but it means that the corruption, whatever it was, the source, they've got linking partners, right? One of the partner rocks must be broken. That must be the other source. Which one did I shoot? Can I remember which direction I shot? Northern? Okay. Which would be, is that for my place?
Let's have a look at your map, but no, it is not.
You know it's there?
Yes, so I do. I got a
moving you across now.
Well, that's all right then.
So, Then I'll have
So
a nice,
this what
stuff.
was shared because Jackson, you had mentioned Mr. Potterton remembered like when he was younger
right,
something
yeah,
about the house having it. So
I
you
remember
have
now.
spotted two of them marked as X's, one at the Mortview house and the other only over at Stornley house. You believe one to be down in the Pendlehaven woods. You have an approximate area based on where the ash tree was mentioned, and then you believe the other one to be somewhere up within the Sand Lake Farms. As there is a gentleman up there. That would be the northern one.
Okay. All right.
None of the symbols down there were damaged.
Yeah, none of the, because the one I looked at wasn't damaged.
So I don't know.
And additionally,
if this-
actually, and the crack in it, the large one that stuff was pooling out of, wasn't related to one of the cardinals. It was sort of like in between two and broken away, southeast.
Perhaps it's just we can't tell whether what part is a lock, what part's a key, and what part is just damage to the area. We're going to have to repair everything. We're going to have to check all of those sites. to be sure.
So the bit that George damaged wasn't an actual symbol, was it?
It was one of those
Yeah,
rippled shapes. They were inscribed into large stone slabs that looked to be possibly blocking off tunnels going to other areas underneath the ground.
Right, but they weren't it wasn't one of the cardinal direction.
No, it was.
symbols.
That was the one to the north
Okay.
that you damaged.
Yeah.
I grab the note, the print I have of the Teleri note, and start writing down everything I can as quickly I can as on the back, like just a report of what we found in case we're both about to fall asleep.
Okay.
I keep shooting furtive glances at Miss Wentworth in the meantime.
So, as you are writing this, and as a short break is taken, Alex, can you please roll a Constitution test for me?
Yeah, I can,
Uh-oh.
but I can't pass it because I don't pass.
Okay.
it.
Lockable?
As you're doing this, and as
No.
like you said, you're
No.
casting furtive glances across towards her. You will realize it before Miss Wentworth does. The color is beginning to drain from her face. It had rushed back in as you came up towards the surface. She's beginning to look pale. Her hand is shaking slightly, and it looks as though she is detecting a chill in the air that is not present. Her eyelids are drooping, and you see her almost subconsciously looking for somewhere to sit down.
I will hurry over to her. You're falling asleep. I've got this. I've got this. I can try and dose you with it now, and you can see if you can shove through it, or right now. Okay.
Miss Wentworth, as Mr. Potterton's talking to you, the voice is coming from 4 feet behind his head and is not matching up with his mouth. His eyes, when they open, are black, and there's these little stars dotted all throughout them. And as you watch his wet, pink, flapping tongue, you can see that far behind it, deep inside his throat, there's a forest there. And inside it, there's something huge and sort of like spiderous that is beginning to crawl through trees, slide up the roof of his mouth, and make for his white tombstone teeth to reach you. Miss Wentworth, can you give me a sanity roll?
Yeah. We
I want to
good.
get that looked at.
Okay,
George.
you can go ahead and just take 1 point for me, as you can't quite shake this illusion. And then, Mr. Potterton, would you like to try and apply drugs?
I would
You've got a
absolutely
monster in
like
your
to.
mouth.
I Pulp Fiction the situation.
Hell yeah. You get this little vial, you just like steady her and then just jam it down her throat, up the nose, wherever it needs to go. Miss Wentworth, suddenly you feel like a surge of life rush through you as you wake up, and suddenly you can hear colors. I'm going to ask you to make another Constitution roll as we are sort of pseudo pushing this.
Oh, the directions.
As you suddenly surge back into life.
No.
Okay.
That's worse.
This is you have woken the hell up, but you are wired as hell. You can feel yourself being frazzled.
that's
Your
worse.
fingertips are tingling. Your eyes are wide open. Your teeth are shaking as you begin to grind them in your jaw. But the illusion that you saw around Mr. Potterton has diminished. You've sort of shaken it away, and it's gone. His voice has reset inside his larynx, where it should be. However, you are absolutely humming from this, and withdrawals will eventually come. You have an hour or so at least where you're just bouncing off the walls of energy.
Are,
Oh my
are you
god, that was
okay?
absolutely horrible. You had a monster in your mouth and it was climbing up from the back of your throat towards your teeth and it was going to come out and get me. The monster's gone now, but I don't feel great, George. I really don't feel great. Not good, George.
Yes, to be expected. We need to get you out of here. We'll be about. Okay, I'm gonna get you to the doctors.
No, we need to get the tools. Remember, we've got to restore all of the symbols. Or is it that we have to break the symbols? No, we don't break the symbols because that's what made the echo come out faster. That's right.
Too many
I
steps.
should probably
at
also
once.
get to a hairdresser. Somebody's going to notice this, and it looks quite terrible, I imagine.
Yes, we can't have this happen here. We need to get you to the doctors, and then I can come back and try and hold things. Walk with me.
But you can't do it on your own.
I'm not
Last time you
planning
tried to do
to.
it on your own, you brought the whole thing down on everybody.
Yes.
As you begin to head, you can begin to head for the stairs, take the screwdriver away and open it up to reveal a completely empty tavern. No one's inside or working, and as you look out, night has fallen. You've lost some track of time. You're also aware that taking her to the doctors will do little, as the doctor too has fallen asleep.
The doctor is not in.
I for sure. I was more thinking in the grand, I need to preserve our reputations. This can't, the people can't see this disaster. But, okay, everyone's gone.
This disaster gesturing to all of her.
The wide arms.
Nickname in high school.
Okay, the place is empty. Take a seat, or I guess just have a look around, see if you can find anyone. I don't think you want to stay still right now.
Yes, I don't think I can take a seat. I mean, I can take one with me if you like, but I don't know what kind of good that will do. I'm going to go see if I can find the proprietress.
Yes, good.
Okay.
Just going to go bounce around the whole tavern, I guess.
You're going to go and look for...
Everyone's asleep.
Yeah, you're going to go and look for the owner.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Miss Bodgerton, what are you doing?
I am worried that we've lost more time. I'm trying to figure out how long it's been. I head straight to the back of the bar where I know the accounts books are because I've been shown them, and I try to find out what's been tracked, what's the time, has any more notes been put in there, has information been provided, stuff like that.
All right. You can head towards that and take a quick check, and Miss Wentworth, you will be able to find Alice Copeland's room. On rousing her, she can speak with you. She thought again you had left for the evening, and simply
I
thought
didn't say I
that.
was going to rouse her. I was just going to find her.
Oh, sorry. In that case, you can find her sleeping, and she stirs slightly. She's more awake than the ones that are in deep slumber. You think she's not in the dream.
She's normal
state.
sleep. Cool.
Mr. Potterton, checking the accounts quickly, you can see that the everything has been tallied for the evening, and the tavern has closed. They've taken the final accounts through. It's sometime after, supper's been served. You're also keenly aware that you are well and truly late for your meeting with your family.
Oh my.
Yes. Dealing with things one at a time.
I'll say in that case, I'm just going to quickly check in because we'll check in with Miss Radcliffe. Because the time when Mr. Potterton was going to return has come and gone. You have slept through the evening. It was a deep sleep and without dreams. When you wake up, you feel still tired, exhausted, but significantly better, and you no longer have that penalty to physical tests. However, you can hear, as you wake up to just, get a little bit of food or something, you can hear slightly nervous chatter for some of the Potters. It's not panicked, but just oh, George's must be waylaid in town or something. And as you look out, night has fallen, and George and none of the others have returned. You also think you might be able to see out in the woods in the direction of the summer house. Maybe you can make out silhouettes moving there, but you're just not sure. It is nighttime.
Hopefully they got the sense to, not come in until everyone's asleep. But if George is late, that means they may run into him on his return. Where would I be in the house if I was looking out at the summer cabin? Do I have a view of it from my bedroom? That'd be ideal.
I think you
do I have to
did
post
because
up in the drawing room.
I think you did have a. I'll tell you what. Let's do a luck roll.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that. It's a fumble.
Okay. Unfortunately, there's no shape that looks out of this that isn't publicly inhabited. Like, yeah, it's like drawing room or kitchen or something where there's kind of always people. You don't have an easy spot to just sit and watch, unfortunately. It's at like it's not directly north-south, it's at a cardinal, so you kind of it's at like an edge case, so you kind of have to sit one and peer out. And basically you actually, and even then you don't really have a clear view of it. You'll need to keep on sort of checking in angles.
Is it...
While you're
and
thinking
now
of
we've
this,
got- now we've got to interpret the fumble roll. Can I play it off like I'm looking out for George coming back, or I'm actually looking at the cabin? Because that's
I'm doing it basically, you don't have a clear view line on the
Yeah.
cabin. You're not going to be
I just
able to
wanna
just
know.
post
Yeah, I
up
got you. I
and
see what you
watch
mean.
it. What I'm also going to say, though,
Yeah.
is that George's older sister will come up to you and ask, this is Marianne, ask if you'd seen him or if you know where he is. He works late sometimes, but it's not like him to basically call for everyone to gather and then vanish.
Yes, that is concerning. Where did I last see him? We were in town.
You were leaving
At the North
the
Lakes.
north, like I say, and he was heading
Yeah.
into town to go back and meet with the tavern. You also know that you had set people down there to dig into the cellar and everything, and that's presumably where he is and what he's working
That's
on.
right. Yes, I will relay all of that. I believe he was helping with the repairs to the tavern, which was so kindly provided by the Reverend. And well, I suppose you know what he's like. He does get caught up in things, and I suppose with a project on his hands, well, he does find that irresistible sometimes. I'm sure he just lost track of time.
Yes, well, I suppose so. It's a little unusual, I suppose, for him to gather us all here and so just urgently and then vanish. I don't know him to miss a family event in such a manner, but I suppose that's all well and good. You said he's helping out in the town.
Yes.
Well, that's
After the passing of Mr. Tavern Owner, whose
Garrett
name I know.
Copeland.
After the passing of Mr. Copeland, he's been providing plenty of charitable
Well,
support.
that's a fine thing. Tell me, Miss Radcliffe, you don't know what it was that he wanted to talk with us about, do you?
Do I? I don't think so. No.
I had to send a runner, so you wouldn't have known that I'd called family meeting even, I think.
Yeah, it could have happened. Could have came in when I was asleep.
This is no news about you, then. This is. Well, I didn't mean to.
Oh.
I simply. Well, I suppose none of
it's-
us know.
No. No, I suppose it is. It is possible, isn't it? Yes, rather.
Well,
see.
can't help but worry. Seems all things are. Well, it's
Should we send a man into town to try to find him?
Yes, perhaps that would do well. I'll
Even at this time of night, a few, one or two at least.
Yes, that would be sensible. And
They don't have armed guards here, do they? But they've got like.
they have like access to
Some-
hunting guns and things, but an armed guard wouldn't be the standard. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
But
even
they'd
and
have,
suggesting
like-
sending one would be a little probably unusual.
No, but I'm just thinking like they'd have like servants who they're like, oh, you know.
Yeah, that one's capable with a weapon.
Bob can swing an axe if he
Yeah,
needs to.
absolutely. Bob joins Henry on the occasional hunting trip, and they
Yeah,
go and
yeah,
they'll bring back a couple of doves. I don't know. What people hunt.
I would suggest sending at least two of the burliest, most guard-like servants into town,
Yes.
so that they are absent from
Okay.
the house.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
backfired spectacularly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me a. I am gonna need an acting or a fast talk roll at this point because this is a little bit more Molly than Jane.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, maybe I'll play it up. Like, oh, I'm just so concerned about George. You know, I do the acting thing where I'm like, oh, I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he just got held up. I'm sure he's not in any trouble. I'm not worried at all. That's like the second layer of acting.
It's good. It's good.
Not good enough. 10 points of luck. I'll do it. Just because I'm so pleased with myself. It was a
Also,
good idea.
because I think if not, they are beginning to. It's a little like you have been here for some time, and I was gonna say this might change how Marianne's been feeling about you the whole time. But I think with that, she does buy it. You also do a little bit scare her though. Speaking of the same thing, and she does begin to fluster a little bit, and she looks back and forth and will say, "Where are the twins?" Yes, I'll have a few people go in and deliver a message, and they can come back with George. What? Stay inside tonight, would you, Miss Radcliffe? It just feels like it would be best. Feels like it might be cold.
And continuing rest is quite good for me, thank you.
Yes. She reaches out, squeezes your arm, and then leaves you seated at the kitchen table. Shortly after, you see her meet with two of the hands.
The dining table, surely.
Yes, sorry, the dining table. You see her meet with two of the hands, sort of like slightly stronger folk. Neither of them look like they are. You put them against either any of your brigands and they'll lose, but put them against someone who.
That's kind of what I want to get them out of here.
And that's the most capable ones. They will go and fetch a couple of horses and head off into town to go and find Mr. Potterton. When Marianne comes back in, she will sit at the table with you for a time and wait.
Good. All is well.
As well. You can't help but, underneath the table, hidden from everyone, just like pull slightly at the edge of your dress as you look out into the darkness, and you're certain now, every now and then, through the bushes, you can see figures move.
Just wait a bit longer, boyo.
Okay. We're going to resume things with, to line up the timing, shortly after you guys emerge. Mr. Potterton, as you're going through the accounts of Miss Wentworth, just as you're preparing to leave, you're going to hear hoofbeats, and Mr. Potterton, one of your staff members, will make, two of them will make themselves known to you. Is there anything you want to do in the intervening period, basically as people come and as things begin to...
Yeah, I think I would like to leave a note for the tavern owner that the works below were not quite finished, and to just not go down there because it might be a bit dangerous.
They're in a delicate state.
Noted.
Yeah, they're in a delicate state.
That is where they keep their stores of food and things. Previously, you had improvised a lock by jamming it from the inside.
Yeah.
Doing so from the outside would be easily removed. I would need, if you wanted to improvise a lock that they couldn't get through, I would need something like mechanical repair. Or you could just try and write a very persuasive, capital P, note to try and get the point across.
I think what I'll do is we get the chiseling.
I'm just gonna say this is gonna look pretty suspicious. There are two bodies down there and a pool of black liquid. Like anyone that checks there that goes like, okay, noted. I am gonna rush it because I need more carrots. Who goes down there is gonna go, what the hell am I looking at?
I'm gonna make sure the body's like covered by canvas and that like.
Even more suspicious, possibly, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but we're running out of options. Can't take them upstairs. They kind of have to stay there.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure that they're covered as part of something that's like damming up that.
This is great.
All right.
This is the part of the scenario where it's like the kidnapping's about to happen. The
We're taking
bodies are
hostages.
hidden in the cellar.
Yeah.
People are falling asleep, and the prom's in an hour.
All right. Could you go ahead and give me a persuasion?
And also, I want to make sure we do get the tools that we need.
Okay.
And basically, I'm just gonna say that what Tom and Dick uncovered was the root cause of the issues they've been having, and it's to do with like I'm gonna make it real gross, like it's sewage and it's pipes and it's gross stuff, hence the black liquid. Like if you need to go down there for anything, please make it quick. We're not sure like what the state, like the fumes, etc. are. We're sending more people to fully fix it up properly, but if you do have to go down there for whatever reason, make it quick, only in an emergency, kind of stay away from that side of the room. And can I posit a fast talk over a persuade?
I know, but this is like written over text. It's really more about like making an argument and sticking to it. I can see, but if you take and also actually you're also hopped up on drugs. I was gonna give you a bonus die for taking your time, but I don't think you're taking your time. I think you're just like scrawling a note together, being like, "Do not go down there, or I will."
In which case,
yes.
I have.
I damn near want to give you a
persuade as well.
penalty dice for it. Honestly, you found the card. Like, I don't think you're in a real like leave a letter mood right now.
Can I? I have persuade as well. Can I jump in and
Just take the pen from her.
Well,
You see her starting
most of
crying, you're
your
like,
energy.
no.
using the most of your energy? I say, start bringing up as many cases of what she might need tomorrow morning and put them around the top so that she has less reason to go down. I'm going to explain to her that it may be unsafe, so we have preemptively moved everything up to buy us more time.
Oh, that's really smart, Mr. Potterton. Well done. And I'm gonna
Okay. It's okay. Mr. Potterton, can you give me a persuasion roll? And Miss Wentworth, can you give me a stealth roll?
Sure.
Because these people are just sleeping in this tavern, and if they hear barrels and things being moved around at night, they're going to assume they're being robbed. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh,
I'm
wait.
doing
Oh, we're
great,
sitting on
guys.
this.
This is
Oh, we
cool.
are sitting on this. This is amazing. Mr. Potterton.
This is great.
Stunning
That's all
note.
better.
You've definitely solved that. You lick it, seal it, and will not look at it again.
And I do not see it because I am bringing up so much stuff.
And you're doing full creep mode. Miss Wentworth, you also amass we'll just say like you have like a little bundle of like hammer, chisel, things like that you can use to try and if you want to repair or mess with things. You also have a little gemmy bar so that you can try and pry things open. Basically, you have a little bundle of tools that you can carry with you now.
Okay.
You write a small note, leave it on top of the door, and then do an improvised like just block the hatch so that someone would have to take it off to go inside and get it. With that, you then hear the horses arrive, swinging lanterns, and Mr. Potterton, when you step outside, two of your staff members are just stepping down. One of them comes up to you and says, thank goodness you're all right, Mr. Potterton. Your sister sent us to fetch you. We wanted to make sure everything's all right.
I see. Yes, I know I'm quite late. We'll return at once. Post haste. I have a horse. We'll get going.
Very well. We were urged to escort you. Chill wind in the air. We'll wait for you to leave.
Certainly, yes. I presume. I was actually going to say that if I didn't get the letter right, I was going to have them stay behind, could like be like, I need you to watch over this. But I think I got the
got
letter
the
right.
letter
So
super
I
right.
don't
You straight
I do.
killed it,
I'm
dude.
convinced. Yeah.
Yeah.
You put
can
you
also
you
go. What are
you
talking
staked
about?
your reputation on that cellar not being going into. They would never check it, and if they did,
Excellent.
you'd be really screwed.
Yeah. Perfect. No, absolutely. I basically jump on my horse and go.
Will Miss Wentworth be coming with us? They can see her there as well.
Sorry. Yeah, I assumed that you were going to be coming with us by the design. Unless you would want to go to speak to, we could go. Do you have a better idea?
It does not make sense for me to go with you guys.
It's late. You might not be able. I think it could be conceivable that we have you escorted
We
back.
part ways, yeah.
I could make excuses. You know, it's late in the night. I'm getting an escort. It would be inappropriate for you to be left here.
They would like to.
Oh, I hate
and
horses so much.
you've been told, Miss Wentworth, that your fiance is planning to stay up late and study. Like he's going to just lock
yeah.
himself in there and go over the notes.
That's
he would
true, actually.
he would even
I
do a
know
little
that
bit
my
of like,
fiancé
don't come by because we don't want to disturb Mrs. Parsons more than necessary.
Yeah, I know that the Reverend is not going to be around tonight, so instead of being on my own, I'm going to very meekly request that I be permitted to visit with the Pottertons this evening. As with all of the sickness going around, I would hate to be on my own this evening, and I think it's safer
Lumber party.
to be with friends. After having jammed my bonnet back on and put a coat over the shotgun.
Tremendous. Okay, so you're both going to head back towards the estate?
Yeah, I think that's the
Okay.
plan.
As you do, can I get you both to make, you can go straight to reputation or you can try and make a stealth roll to get, this is just leaving late at night, slightly strange circumstances. It's going to be a point if you fail. You can try a stealth roll to basically just sneak out, and then if you succeed it, no penalty. Or you can just ride straight out and... Okay, Miss Wentworth, can you just
People
reduce...
already think I'm weird.
I wrote a letter.
You're okay, Miss Potterton. Miss Wentworth, can you just reduce a point? This is just a little bit of like, you know,
cool.
now there's you going off with Mr. Potterton late at night. Well, that's a little strange.
Yeah. But you know what? She's turned into kind of a weird chick, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Let's tank that. See how low it goes.
You know what? It's fine. It's fine. You know what? When you've got appearance 80, people will make a lot of concessions for you, I think.
Oh, yeah. All right, the two of you
Credit
ride...
rating 60 and appearance 80? People are going to make concessions.
Oh, yeah. They're happy to do so. The two of you ride back towards the Potterton estate at Mortview House, and the last thing I'm going to ask you to do before you both arrive is if, Mr. Potterton, could you please make a spot hidden roll with a penalty dice?
Certainly. Hard success and penalty. Fail.
As a
All
failure.
luckable, though. I think it's more narratively exciting if I spot nothing.
I agree. You ride off. Miss Wentworth, you're going through withdrawals as you begin, the come down rather. As you begin to just feel chills going over. You don't feel tired. You feel like you're going to vomit, and you do not want to be on this goddamn horse anymore. But you're just waiting for it to get there. Mr. Potterton, what you don't see as you go along is the horse tied off the side of the road underneath the thick trees that you might have recognized as that of the strange gentleman you saw earlier this evening. The four of you, you two and your two escorts, return to the Mortview house as the door is opened and your sister Marianne, the only one still awake, along with Miss Radcliffe, seated at the dining table, the two of them enjoying an evening tea as Miss Radcliffe slept through much of the afternoon. Walk you in. Marianne, goes to like, not scold you, but talk at you, then sees Miss Wentworth and says, is this the meeting you... Miss Wentworth, please, if you'd come inside. It's late, but we can have a room drawn up for you.
I'm going to note her urge to scold her brother. Approve of her urge to scold her brother. Introduce myself warmly. Yes, my fiance is working late tonight with all the sickness going around. I thought it best to be amongst friends rather than alone at my vast estate. It has been a very long day caring for my fiance as he provides support to the town.
Yes.
May I have a wash basin drawn up?
Yes, I'll find you something
possible.
immediately. And she's a little taken aback at your appearance. Do you want to give me a fashion roll or a charm or an etiquette? Because you're turning up with basically a lock of your hair has been cut off. You've got cold sweat pooling on your forehead. Yeah, but once you come inside, like, you see,
wear a hat inside.
Can't wear a hat inside.
Look, I'm gonna say that I would have been on a horse. Would have been really hard to like quickly braid it in or something.
This would be the role if you want to try a fashion roll or something to disguise this.
might
Also,
try.
you're aware you're like cold sweating, your hands are clammy.
Yeah.
One of your gloves
I
is
think
missing.
while we're approaching from the horse to the door, I'm gonna try and do a real quick like alongside braid that'll just like pull that bit in.
Yeah, hell yeah.
No, today is not the day.
You come in, it's kind of done there, but it's frayed and gone
And there's
away.
like I missed the key bit, and it's like.
I'm just gonna ask you to make another reputation roll for me as you come in, go
having
through
a good day, having a great day.
You're not having
a real good day.
If you go ahead and lose a D, I want to say a D2 for me. It's not gonna be massive, but it's cool. There. And Mr. Potterton is actually I'm gonna make it a D3. Sorry, Mr. Potterton is a kind of a man about town. These are a people of some significance, yeah. And this is a strange circumstance. You get a basin drawn for you, and they don't have a ton of spare rooms. It's probably one of the kids is being ousted for the night. Miss Radcliffe is occupying the only guest room. While you're doing that, Miss Radcliffe, you can overhear this easily at the dinner. You've kind of become part of the furniture. Marianne steps up to you, George, and says, "George, where have you been?"
Listen, I think I'm going to assume that I have a fairly good relationship with my sister. So
it is fairly good. The only thing is there's a slight level of you both have this, like, we need to provide for the family. We are falling over. I have given up my life to find like partners for my younger siblings. I will be an old maid. I will not marry, and I will say you have become a banker, and you are our most eligible bachelor. You are the chance for this family to continue. The younger ones will be married off, and we hope we can find something for them. So you're friendly, but you both share the burden. And this is, from her perception, a little bit of you gallivanting, or as close as that's gotten. You know, you're kind of just been dicking
totally
around.
Get that. I think that I flash into that sort of like serious, like, no, we're having one of the conversations of the family needs to be saved things. I say the sickness that Jane had has spread. It's endemic in town. People are sick. The doctor's sick. People in the tavern are sick. It's spreading. I didn't want you to sleep. I didn't want any of them to sleep until I could get close. I was working with Parsons, found some source of the infection. We, at this point, need to... It's like the cholera outbreaks or tuberculosis, anything.
George, does Miss Wentworth have this? You haven't brought her here with it, have you?
It's not contagious in that sense. I don't think she has it, but we need to watch over her to make sure.
George, this isn't a hospital. This isn't a church. You can't bring them here.
Jane was here for... It's not... I know enough to know that it's not at risk there. The risk comes from in town.
Yes, and she sort of like remembers Jane's there, steps you both out into the hallway a little bit, so now it's only whispers. And Jane's been here for months, George. We have resources, yes, but they're being stretched thin.
You're right. I hear what you're saying, and we need to resolve all of that as quickly as possible, but this latest development doesn't just threaten reputation or everything. This could wipe Tarryford off the map. The next days are critical.
As this is happening, Alex, can you give me a spot hidden roll?
Sure.
Oh, don't.
Look, I won't.
Thank you.
You are taken upstairs into one of the children's rooms where you're given a basin and you're cleaning your face. You're focusing on this. Jane, as the two step out, as they're drawn further out, you sitting with your back to the glass, hear a tap on the window. And when you look around, there is the black bearded figure of your brother looking through the glass and furiously glaring at you.
I furiously glare back.
And he mimes for you to come outside.
Just flash up at 10 minutes.
Can you give me a persuade roll, an intimidate, a social one? He does not look like he is in the mood to be told what to do.
I just sprint out here in the middle of tea. Intimidate is what I got. Oh.
Okay, you turn around.
No, he's on my turf now. This is my party operation. He's not meant to be here, so what I say goes, actually.
He steps back and just goes... And he slides back into the darkness. Your brother is a threatening figure. He's like, he's got that like 6 foot wide shoulders, full trench coat and everything, the black, almost piratey beard. And as he slides back into the darkness, you will now be able to spot this silhouette standing feet away from the doors to Potterton's estate. Outside in the corridor, the conversation is continuing. Is there any particular... Basically, she's concerned. Are there any other points you want to make? You beyond just basically be worried and stay inside.
You're right to be concerned. Don't go into town. Be protected. We need to like lock things in. I'm going to try and work out everything as quickly as I can. And I also, I think that if she's sort of taking the serious angle, I think I probably get a little bit of that same sort of like flat-faced, like we have to protect the family reputation and provide for our siblings at all cost, and say, there is a possibility that I get implicated in this, and if things go badly, I might be down the tubes, in which case, George. I wasn't there, it was Dad, he's a known madman, you need to set up a way for us to throw him under the bus.
George!
This is the practicalities of the situation.
How can you... Your own...
That man has not been my father since the day my mother passed. You have told me what you want, and I've told you what I want. We want to keep the rest of the family safe and protected. If you think that you'll be better off doing that with him, then by all means, I applaud you in your courage, and
George,
I will step aside.
I didn't mean to suggest that you were doing anything but looking out for us. I know you've brought us back wealth when we lost it. You've spent years away from your family, dedicated to your cause. You've made a name for yourself. I appreciate all of that, but Father's unwell. He can't. It'll kill him, George. I'm sure of it. It'll kill him if he knows you feel this way.
It will kill. This sickness could kill him just as easily. It almost has killed others. Hopefully none of this will be necessary, but I want you to prepare for every eventuality like we always have. Speaking of which, you remember the cabin, the summer house we played in as a child?
Yes, we've closed the doors. We can't afford to maintain it.
Can you fetch the accounts book that was related to it? We need to. It's relevant to the situation at hand.
Certainly.
The infection is subterranean. It may as well consider it that.
The infection is subterranean. You think it wells underground, or?
We can go into detail, and I'm happy to, but for now we need to move, and we should get Jane. She's aware of the situation.
I should like to appear in the hallway.
Yeah, absolutely.
George, it sounds like you've had quite a day. Perhaps you do need to rest. Surely nothing is so urgent that it can't wait till morning.
I'm afraid it's serious. I'm glad to see you're feeling better, but we went to the cellar, and I'm kind of glancing between. If you can get the book, I'll explain everything to Jane. We can send the kids to bed. I suppose we just need to be careful. Maybe an hour longer. That's all we should need.
I'll fetch the books. I'll bring them into the study. Find anything else I think might be useful. Yes, well, I suppose there's... Yes, and she sweeps up the stairs and heads to gather some of the books. It's just the two of you there for the moment. Alex, once Emma finishes washing her face and everything, you feel somewhat refreshed. You're definitely still like going through it. You're worried you're not going to sleep for a while. You feel like you're in that
fine.
like... Were it modern, you'd be
Yeah.
hugging the toilet for the rest of the night. You know, you're like long shower kind of vibes.
Oh yeah. What I would like to try and do is I'm aware the state that I'm in, and I'm aware how much of my I guess usefulness and value rests on the fact that I am a very pretty young daughter of a very wealthy family. So I am going to kind of do the best I can to even shit out, basically. And if I am not sleeping, I am happy to spend time on doing that. So, you know, just getting my sharp little sewing scissors and evening things out,
Yes,
and, you know,
yes,
putting in some
okay.
rag curls so that tomorrow when I do emerge, I'm going to look good. Like,
Hell
I'm
yeah.
going to look different, and I'm going to look possibly weird, but good enough that it might just start a new trend. Basically, is what I'm going for.
Love it. So what I'll do is, if you want to spend like the evening working through that, I'll actually make a fashion roll. As a gimme, you'll get some bonus. Will allow you to do things like you could try and like we've spoken before about the opportunity for Miss Wentworth to like secret items about her person. Like a fashion designer it's very like, it's cool. It's like kind of pulpy. Like you can do like the
Shotgun.
Batman
Yeah.
outfit, you know. So if you get a hard success and further, you can get some extra benefits possibly to this outfit. We will park you there then for the time being, working your way through that, and I'll return it to Miss Radcliffe and Mr. Potterton. That's Jim.
If I can say one last thing, as my sister is leaving, going to the stairs, I throw out a little like, this isn't an obsession or anything. It's not one of sort of soft alluding to my father's alchemical pursuits. It'll be resolved in a week, or it won't matter.
Yeah, hell yeah. She pauses, doesn't look back on the stairs, and says, yes, well, we must hope so. And then she heads away. Great, cool. I love that
I
reference.
suppose I should just like to wash my face and then join you in the study, if that would be all right.
Of
We
course.
can discuss further, but I think a small breather would do us all some good.
Very good. Yes, and I think that in the most disconcerting way possible, I pull out the expended pistol as I'm walking into the study, and I'm clearly loading it.
Hell
Oh
yeah.
dear.
Okay.
Good.
For a moment, Miss Radcliffe, you're the only one on the ground floor. There's some staff members. Like, there's horses are being stabled still, so there's people outside, and there's folks around in general. But most people have headed for bed. What would you like to do?
Head out the back door once no one's looking.
Okay. You gather up your things, head out the back door. Will you bring a lantern with you?
No need for that.
No need for that. Will you bring a weapon with you?
I've always got a knife.
All right.
Yeah.
You slip out the back door and quickly step down off the veranda and into the darkness. Quickly, you feel the presence of your brother, the sort of smell of his slightly curdled breath as he stands over you, and he says, "That was your last chance, Mole. It's done. We're doing it now."
No, you said tomorrow.
No.
And I said to Baxter, I said after you have a look at what's in that cabin.
Yeah, we looked. There's nothing there, Mole. It's empty. It's useless.
And you looked.
We looked. There's nothing there.
I told him to bring a crowbar. You
We
didn't look
did.
up under the
We
stone
pried
slab?
open the ground. There's nothing there.
The stone slab
Yes.
in the floor.
He reaches out, grabs you by the scruff, and he says, "I'll fucking show you." And he pushes you into the thing towards the summer house and marches behind you.
Okay, I'll have a look. Yeah, that's all right. Let's have a quick look. Yep, all right.
He shoves you and you sort of stumble forward slightly, and he walks behind you as you head towards the summer house through the darkness. We might park you there for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that sucks for everybody.
Mr. Potterton,
Ah.
you head upstairs, and your Miss Wentworth, you're nearby. You have you're in a room with it slightly open as you're going through. So you can, if there's raised voice or everything, you're free to join. But otherwise, you're working on your sewing. If you wish, also you can you can just say, "I'm not sleeping well, and I'm going to sit in." Like, you guys are all in the investigation team. You can just sit in the room with them and work on your craft. Possibly once Marianne leaves. Up to you guys. I don't want to exclude you from scenes that are happening. Basically,
Yeah,
you're free
no,
to
I'm
answer.
happy to be around as long
Yeah.
as there's nobody else there. Although, you know what? Maybe it would be impressive.
And Marianne's
Yeah.
kind of been a little bit keyed into what's happening. Mr. Potterton.
Yeah.
As soon as I possibly can, I think I would try and get
Yeah.
Miss Wentworth.
Yeah. So
Well, I do a
Marianne's
little fixer-upper.
Marianne lays out some of the books. You're more familiar with these than anyone else in the house, and your hand's been all over them. There were holes throughout these. There's things that have been sold that haven't been accounted for. You've got debts all across town that you're pay off a portion of this one to keep that cool, and we'll need to borrow more money from them to make that work. And your own personal funds are not insignificant. You've had to tap into your own wealth a number of times, and you are aware of also that soon you're going to have to return to I don't know where you were working, London or something, where you were a banker. You're going to have to return to do to renegotiate things and get reputations. Your whole family is on a knife's edge constantly. That if one too many things get called in, it cascades into just nothingness. And suddenly you're fucked.
I set the alchemist at bay in the second session, I think. But there's not a
Exactly. That's it.
not helping.
It's a nice edge that goes both ways. You also just feel like if you can just get a bit of stability, we're back. We can get more assets. We can keep this going. We have a reputation still, which is also why it's so key that your reputation is upheld. Because even if you're right, maybe you cast this on your father, that will start the cascade. Your family just has the reputation still. That's all you're trading on.
Yeah. I think that I'm planning out the logistics, and none of it looks good, but I'm also thinking in terms of the sleeping sickness as the prime priority at this point. So getting the book, I start flicking back. I'm assuming this is like a family accounts thing. If this was built by my great granddaddy Potterton, was he also a weird accountant and hopefully didn't have a streak of family madness that I'm now seeing tracked down for generations?
What are you looking into the summer house? You want to see what the history of that is?
I want, when was that built? Why was it built? What was the story?
Can you go ahead and give me an accounting roll? There's some information regardless.
Fantastic. A success.
Okay. Okay. Long. Here we are. Okay, so the summer house was built on the foundations that pre-existed Tarryford. There was like a section of the ground that was found to be stable. The main house, the like manor, was not. It was built from the ground up. So it sort of like existed. It was also where your family, it was like the original home that was then quickly outgrown, and then they moved into the larger and much nicer estate. So it pre-exists it, built on foundations, and presumably that is what this slab is on. You will also find with that success that the trap door, the like what the rug is on top of, and then the slab is underneath it, was intentionally put in because one of your family members remarks that there may be something of historical interest underneath. It was kind of dotted as like and perhaps in time this will be significant, or maybe this is something we need to look into, but your family never really had a great draw towards this, and it was never really looked into too closely. If anything, if it was looked into, they didn't find anything remarkable within it, so it was kind of dismissed. Pre-exists, and you know that from your own accounts that basically it's been shuttered up and no one's been inside it in probably since you were kids. And actually, it was probably shuttered. No, it was when your mother died that things really went downhill. When you were kids, you would still go there sometimes, and like you guys would have like camping trips, you know, where like the kids all went there and hung out, like you'd have like stay there and things. You always had dreams of like when you got the house, maybe your parents lived there or something as they retire, stuff like that. But it kind of all just fell away, and it's been locked up for years now.
And I have no memory of spotting that symbol at any point on the slab.
No, you do. You do have a memory of playing in there as a kid and checking under the... No, you weren't drawn into it. No, you remember seeing it. It's such like a minor thing that you're like, oh, I thought that was like not a dream, but like, yeah, maybe that was a thing that we saw as kids. It's like under a rug, under like a little trapdoor that you'd like look up and see it. You remember having like, you remember playing with your sister at like games that there was treasure underneath, and that like this was this amazing thing. You tried to move it a couple times, but it was way too heavy for you as kids. And eventually, one time your parents told you like, stop messing around with that. Someone's going to get hurt. And then you were too old, and then you were working, and then you kind of put it away from your mind.
I relate all this to you. I think Miss Wentworth, I'm probably speaking out loud at this point for a lot of it. I wonder if we protected my younger siblings a little more. They've had time to play about, and they're a little... Well, my younger brother's a little dreamier. Maybe he's seen it recently. Maybe he's felt it pull. If we could tell if there's been a change recently, although we know there has been something. I don't know what our next step is beyond. It doesn't seem there's any damage here. We have to check the other ones, then we have to get into the center of town, and we have to try and repair everything. As to sickness, I don't know what the cure is apart from trying to... Do we try and get Asher to put out a public statement telling everyone to go and drink the clear blue water?
I don't think we could get him to do that. I think that just sounds insane.
He's a religious man. Maybe we can find some sort of biblical impetus.
If we can find a biblical reference, I think we can convince him to put it. I think if we convince him that it's his own idea that this is a good prayer for the occasion, then I think we can convince him to include it in the announcement.
The prayer for the fountain, the drawn from Emmanuel's veins, all the rest of it. We'd have to talk to the Reverend. It would mean more coming from him.
Yes, this is definitely something for the Reverend to... He'll know.
Okay.
And be able to convince Asher to include it in his... Well, convince Asher that it was his own idea to include it in any notice that he puts out.
We could go over to the summer house now and try and look around, but I don't know what we're going to see much. I could speak to my younger brother. Otherwise, I think that the best thing is I try and indemnify us. I can start putting together some circumstantial evidence, perhaps something that we could slip into the accounts book in the tavern if we get another chance to be there.
Oh, Mr. Potterton, I don't think... Either we fix this or it won't matter.
You're right.
Our reputations are a separate concern entirely. If we don't fix this, there will be no town to care about our reputations anymore. Yes. Unfortunately, it seems that way. I think we need to get to the other stones and to see what's amiss.
We're not going to leave tonight. Maybe it's best that... Do you think you could find some kind of sleep?
Oh, that's highly unlikely, but if I can make myself look a little bit less homeless by the morning, then I think that would aid everybody.
I should probably rest then. I might retire. I can't think of any way I can be helpful this evening without exhausting myself and being useless on the morrow.
The only other thing that you'll note is that Miss Radcliffe had said that she would join you shortly and has not made herself present.
However, I have been convinced time and time again that she's on the level. I fully believe her. So she must have simply fallen asleep. It has been exhausting a couple of days for all of us. None more so than Miss Radcliffe, whose recent illness has put her at a disadvantage there. I imagine she has simply fallen asleep, and honestly, good for her.
She told me she was coming, and she could have relapsed. We need to find her. We need to have a look. I'm gonna I'm gonna knock. She won't mind. I'm gonna knock.
You do that, Mr. Potterton, and I'm gonna continue
working on your
fixing this
before I build up the courage to knock on the door.
You rap on the door, and there is no response from within.
A little louder.
No response, okay. And any louder, you'd risk waking up some of the others.
It's not locked, right? Or we latch from the inside. I'm gonna burst in.
Okay. You
Nice.
Sort of jimmy the thing and open it. It opens into the empty room. Miss Radcliffe keeps it neat, tidy. She only has her few things that she'd carried and a couple of choice garments she's purchased while in town. There is a wardrobe to the far side with some outfits laid up on it, and there is the trunk that she carried with her when she first arrived in town. That is locked.
I'm gonna start searching the house. I think it's probably I think she's probably collapsed somewhere and fallen back into the sleeping sickness would be my assumption.
Yeah. You head back outside, let Miss Wentworth know that she's not inside, and begin to search, starting downstairs in all the public areas at least. Okay, we will leave you there for a moment as we get to Scarazoots, as elsewhere. Miss Radcliffe is escorted through the stand of trees and towards the summer house. It is in a slight clearing, and there is a moon high in the sky above it that is just breaking through clouds to cast some light through it. A lantern has been lit inside the house, but when the doors are closed and it had been shuttered because it was basically not being used, very little light creaks out from it. Your brother is pushing you from behind, and as the door opens, you will see that they have tossed the rug to the side, opened the trapdoor, and then with a heavy crowbar broken back the seal thing that was across it, and you can hear the sounds of a shovel in the ground underneath it. And he says, "It's a cavern, Mole. There's nothing inside. You said there would be something here."
That's what I had. That's what I had. The old man is an idiot and a fool. I thought there was something in there. He was doing something in here. He was keeping something in here under that slab. I swear.
Well, they've got nothing, or else maybe you find it. He pushes you towards the hole in the ground. As you get towards it, you can see that it's been broken away, and so push off towards the side. They've taken no care to preserve things. The large rippled symbol on the top of it has a large crack going through the center now where they pried it open, and you feel no draw to fall inside it like you did previously. There is then a drop down into the ground where the lantern light is coming up from. It goes about 4 meters or so. It's pretty deep, this hole, and there's knotted roots around it. And then there's been a rope lowered down, and you can see at the bottom Baxter with a shovel is prying up packed earth from the ground around it, trying to excavate something. There's a large stone in the center. Arthur calls down and he goes, "Found anything?" Baxter says, "There's something. I don't know if it's gold though."
There's something. It's a thing.
It's better be worth it. Understand? And here, you can help. And he's going to pass you a shovel.
Oh, mate, I've been in bed for 3 days straight. Do you think I can lift that thing?
Yeah, tough. Down you go.
Now this
You
slab,
did win that.
slab.
You did win that intimidation roll. He's
did.
not going full straight. You're pretty sure you can tell him to get stuffed here, but
I'm going to tell him to get stuffed. Get stuffed.
You're getting delicate, and you're getting comfortable. Your
Just go
blistered
down there,
heel or
you-
not?
Yeah, you go down there and dig. I'll keep a lookout, alright? You want to get out of here quickly? Get that thing out.
It's better be worth something. We're taking the kids tonight. He goes to the edge and begins to lower himself down the tunnel.
And I'm have a look at this slab. It was not broken last I was here.
No, it was in one piece. They have, in the process of,
They have broken it.
prying it open, have, like, it's a large capstone, basically. There is a crack running through it, and it's been pushed off towards the side. And you have no desire to fall down into it anymore.
Right through the symbol.
Yep.
So, can I push it back together?
Yeah, you begin to, you
What that
kind of, like,
does?
heave against it. Nothing immediate. There's still, like, a hairline. There's chips. It's stone, you know, like, it hasn't broken completely smoothly.
I push it back together and look around for like an ink pot or similar to paint over the symbol.
Yeah, give me a...
They're in a hole. They can't see me.
Oh,
They're
no, I'm
down
not
a
worried about
hole.
them. I'm worried about there being an ink pot in this abandoned house.
Oh, like it was a cabin, like a study. Like
It was,
a
but they
kind
closed it
of,
up. Give me a luck roll.
Heck you, Dave. That's an education roll, which is next to the luck.
It's close.
And this is the luck roll, which is even worse.
Which is
I'm
worse, that's
sorry.
worse.
There's nothing here. You could nip back to the house while they're down here. You're pretty sure you could sneak away for a moment.
I'll lick my finger and then just like smudge the ink around into the gaps.
It's not ink. It's
That's not
like
gonna
it's like a
work.
chiseled. It's like a chiseled symbol in it. Like it's been
that's
chipped into it.
right.
Sorry, I may not have
Of course.
described
No,
that
yeah,
accurately.
No, you did say that, and I forgot. I thought it was drawn on for some reason. So pushing it together, I don't feel anything.
Sorry.
Okay. I don't know anything about what the others have found about, the breaking the symbols or anything.
Yeah, no, because you didn't
just-
show up to the meeting.
Oh, I didn't show up to the
You
meeting.
didn't show
You did
up.
hear me whisper a fair bit. It's conceivable you
love
could have
the
caught
minutes.
And
that
whispers
critical
and
line.
concerns and things are getting worse is definitely the impression you'd get. But they're kind of playing separate tracks at the moment.
No, it's okay. I will look and see what they find.
From underneath you hear, well, I'm not a fucking historian. And then something from Baxter. And then Arthur's gonna go, Mole, get the rope, we're gonna haul it up.
All right,
It's tied on, get ready to pull.
I will comply.
He's gonna have you toss it over a beam, so you've got a winch and haul on it. Meanwhile, Mr. Potterton, Miss Radcliffe is not in the house.
I will leap to action in a second. I just wanted to say very quickly, I was so hoping, Jackson, that you were about to just lock them in while they're in the hole.
Oh,
Like-
the thought
Push
crossed
the
my mind.
capstone, push the capstone back over the top.
I was gonna
And
like.
sit
Well,
on it
and
like-
generally, there's a rope ladder going down to it. Like getting up without that is basically that it would be really tough to scramble out.
I was thinking that. I was thinking like I got this big stone slab just dropping on their heads, but then I thought I want to know what that is.
Yeah.
I want to know what they found.
I am Mr. Potterton is not so much in denial about Miss Radcliffe as he's just avoided the signs.
Yeah.
So he's going to take this as the most logical thing, I think, which is that he comes back, there's a disaster, she is sleeping sickness vulnerable, the sickness is getting worse and everything's breaking. She was about to come and now she's gone. She's vanished. She must have slipped into that pocket dimension that we have known before. I need to get her from the pocket dimension because I know people can get stuck and they need to get tackled to be escaped to the summer house. I think that's a reasonable roundabout way. That's probably what I stick to.
I think that is reasonable too. Do you want to grab Miss Wentworth?
Yes, I think I'm so myopic at this point. I just keep talking to you as if you're not a mess at the minute.
As if I'm not busy.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Well, I should make that
attending to
fashion
my
roll.
crafts. Yeah, do you want to give us a... you don't hold it, Alex, because depending if
Yeah.
you'll get it regardless, you have made progress. In the morning, if you get some more time on it, you can roll it with more time. So don't roll it just yet. You are working on it. We'll resolve it when you get to it. Yeah, what are the two of you want to do?
I think she must be out at the summer house. She must have slipped into the strange space.
Yep.
Maybe
All right.
it's bleeding, it's leaking or something.
Yes, all right. We do have to have a look at it to make sure it hasn't ruptured further, I suppose. If we need to... Oh, here are the chisels and whatnot. We may as well make sure that it's all as we expect it to be, as we wish it to be while we're there. I'm sure she's fine, though. She may have just taken a turn about the gardens. Honestly.
I suppose it's a possibility, but we can confirm that. Come on,
Yes.
And are the two of you searching with... are you taking some lanterns? And because you're
Well, I
like
need both
looking
hands for the
for her,
shotgun.
right? Like you're looking for her. Like so, I think she will get
I
this.
bring a lantern.
Yeah.
Maybe one hooded lantern, but I need both hands for shotgun purposes.
Yeah, you've established that you don't like horses. Otherwise, it's conceivable that we would have just galloped over the fields or something.
I mean,
It's more
I
like
will
through
be
a
in the
stand
back
of
of a horse
trees
with
and
somebody.
things. The quickest way is generally just through the stand of trees. You can go a long way round through fields and things, but that will take a while.
Through
Yeah,
the stand of
okay.
trees.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm okay with being on the back of a horse with somebody if somebody else is doing the horse-related things.
All right. From inside so the two of you gather some things from inside the house. Miss Radcliffe, you or Molly, you toss the rope over the thing and can begin to haul. Do you want to give me a strength roll, please?
Oh boy, I can try. No rolls for me this session, actually. I think I'm taking a break.
From down below, you hear a yell of "Barely budged! Pull, Mole!"
I'm pulling.
Do you want to push the roll? You're just doing some damage to yourself. This is getting possibly beyond you.
No,
Okay.
but...
Yeah, heck 'em.
No, they can get it out. They're the big, strong
Yeah, heck 'em.
boys. They're the big, strong boys. I'm
Okay.
doing my best. I'm
Alright,
going to continue doing my best.
They are
Are they
gonna
not ashamed of themselves?
from down below. Arthur's gonna go tie the rope back up. Then we'll come out and we'll do it ourselves.
I
Get
also
back to go.
am
Just
keeping
like
a-
everything.
Also, I'm keeping a watch out like I said I would, because I know I'm missing.
So in that case, as you go to possibly you take the rope back down from the winch and go to tie it off to be used as a ladder. As you do this, you just make out a lantern beginning to come through the stand of trees towards the summer house.
Out of time. Boy, someone's coming.
To get them,
What do you mean, get them?
deal with them.
Can't deal with them just out here on my own. It's going to look suspicious. We've got to go.
Tie the
Gotta go
rope
now.
up. We'll come up. We'll grab them now. Mole, we're doing it now. Tie the rope, Mole.
By all means, lads, come on out.
You can't get the kids. They're in bed.
They are
You
getting...
can get me. You can get me. Look, you've already got me.
Fine, tie the rope, then let us up.
I'm letting you up. I'm letting them up.
Okay, you
Letting them
tie
up.
the rope and they begin to climb. They're going to be a beat. Where do you want to be placing yourself?
For a quick getaway with them.
You can leave. You can go out the door. You can intercept the others as they come. You can wait here and run this out with Arthur and Baxter.
There's just two of them, though. And if they, get into trouble tonight, then the rest of the gang's still in the forest.
The gang's not huge. There's
against
probably like another
better
like
judgment,
4 of them. Like 3 or 4.
Against-
Like
I think Molly is the kind of person who would play both sides for too long.
Yeah.
okay. So do you want to intercept or do you want to play this out as hostage?
I'm letting them up
Okay.
out of the hole. I'm saying, don't kidnap the kids. Kidnap me.
So they're going to take
George
you
is an idiot.
now.
I'll pay you.
Okay.
We're out of other options.
All right. Arthur goes. You think he cares enough about you? You think this will play?
He's a goddamn idiot.
Fine. Then
I
this is
think
how we
he'll- I
play
think
it.
He'll turn the place upside down and pay you.
Baxter, get a knife on her. And Baxter goes, willingly. And he snaps out the little switchblade, goes towards you and sticks it way too close to your throat.
Oh, heck off.
He holds you there and goes, you're playing hostage, remember? And he pulls you across to the side. Arthur goes, I'm going to go fetch the horse. I'll come by. I'll grab you. Make sure she gets seen. Mole, holler, all right? Scream,
Yeah.
sell it.
Righto.
All right, Arthur slips out the back door and, punching low, heads off to go and find the horse as Baxter, with the knife at your throat, brings you up towards the door and he says, time to earn your money, Mole, and he pushes you out towards it.
What was it, though? What was it? What was it in the wall? What's in the hole?
a stone or something, some sigil on it. Who knows what it's worth? Not much, and not enough.
As I'm leaving, like, I'm hoping that it's obvious what they found. Maybe the rope's like still somewhat attached. So
Yeah,
at
the
least,
rope's still attached on the lower side. Yep.
good. At least it'll be found. Even if I don't find out what it is, someone will.
Arthur slinks off towards the door, opens, and George and Emma, as you come through the stand, you see silhouetted in the summer house is Miss Radcliffe. At first, you just think it's her there standing here, and then you see that figure, that's like strange small man who tried to look at your carriage, is behind her with a hand around her mouth and a knife to her throat. Mole, you are aware that he is the only one for a moment. Arthur has left. You maybe have the numbers, but if you want to sell this, he cracks his arms just enough so that you can talk.
George, help!
Mr. Potterton?
Shock and blabber for a second, and then the same thing has happened when I was trapped in the crypt last year. Well, this is a disaster. I think I say that. It's like, yes, well,
Yes, well.
this is very bad.
He's got a knife straight towards her, right on her throat. And he moves forward, and she gets stabbed. And you actually feel, Mole, you feel a nick as it just cuts into your throat slightly, and the blood pulls down slightly. Baxter's gonna go, no one moves. Understand Miss Radcliffe's dear to you, Mr. Potterton.
Very much so. I would be heartbroken if anything happened.
Well, it's unfortunate she's taking to walking in the woods late at night. So here's how things are gonna work. My companion's returning shortly, and you can hear hoofbeats coming. That's the sound of him now. We'll be taking Miss Radcliffe with us, and you're to procure some funds for her safe return. Do you understand, Mr. Potterton?
I do. Yes, I understand.
Very well. Mole, it's open enough so that you can talk slightly. It would look as though you're fighting it out, but he's kind of opened it so that you can talk. Miss Wentworth, what are you doing as well? I presume everyone's frozen unless said otherwise.
I can hear the horse coming, yes?
Yes,
I can hear the horse coming.
Yep.
Okay, can I see the horse coming?
Not just yet. You guys are in the trees, kind of haven't quite emerged out of it. You can try and peer around. He's got you two spotted though. You were coming with lantern light.
Yeah. You know what's funny about this though is if I suspected that Jane was anything other than what she said, I would indicate to her to make some kind of move and get away from him so I could shoot him. But you know what? I think she's just a helpless young lady, braver than most. But you know,
if the Reverend was here, he'd be well onto it.
Yeah, he'd be well onto it. So I guess I've got the shotgun like out of sight under my coat.
Okay.
But, you know, I'm kind of going to be crushed over like I'm a scared little lady. And as soon as that horse comes in, decide if I can recognize the rider, or if I don't recognize him as somebody associated with the estate, if he's clearly a brigand like this fellow. We have work to do. The town is swiftly falling asleep.
Can't afford it.
I'm not really interested in talking to people like this.
Okay.
So I am just straight up gonna shoot the man.
Okay.
Please do what they say. Do what they say, George. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. I know you'll come for me.
And hopefully, the shock of seeing his pal crunched will be enough for me to then swing around and get him.
Okay. All right. He elbows you forward out into the center of it. You can hear a horse beginning to approach as it comes around the side. Miss Wentworth, can you please give me a sleight of hand roll? And you can take a bonus dice as he does not anticipate a woman to be carrying a weapon, shooting. Basically. Yeah, he's really watching Mr. Potterton to see if you can hide this weapon.
Sleight of hand, eh?
But for what it's worth, I was not going to make any move. I was thinking of talking moves.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was gonna do what he was told.
I'm very bad at sleight of hand, but you know what? Even if they spot me, it's kind of like, wait, what? There'll still be a moment of, wait, what?
There'll be a beat, but they'll see you have it at least, and there's no chance of a surprise.
There's no way I'm passing this one. But you said bonus.
You have a bonus.
Oh wait, I wonder if I can probably luck
That's
that.
not a bad roll.
Oh,
it's so close.
It's so close. I'm lucking it.
Okay, hell yeah.
9
All right.
points.
Yeah.
You hide it, and you're off shots. And I say with that positioning as well, you've got a beeline. You can see the horse beginning to approach. So what happens is Arthur, this like tall black figure dashes down on the horse and begins to race along the field. He is moving fast enough that there will be a penalty die opposed on attacks against him. It's also in the dark. These are not optimal situations for a fight. Everyone's kind of here at a bit of a disadvantage. The one with the most control in the situation is Baxter, who has a switchblade properly jammed into Miss Radcliffe's throat. And even like psychology-wise, even if you suspected foul play, you would think he's fully willing to stab and kill her, because there is a level of he absolutely is. Miss Radcliffe, Molly, you're not super confident in this play either, and generally begin to think, I might actually be a hostage. Arthur bands down on the horse and begins to race forward. As it closes the distance, I think, Miss Wentworth, you're possibly we're gonna set this scene and then park the scenario here for the week.
Oh boy.
What do you do?
Well, I need to make sure I'm not going to just shoot any old person.
You will recognize the man that you've seen in the tavern a number of times.
This asshole, who in the back of my mind is also, he showed up coincidentally at the time this sort of started happening. So I've got multiple reasons now to be like, get wrecked.
Yeah.
So I would like to assist him in getting wrecked.
Jim?
I was adding one part of just context. What the only thing George probably says, I think, is as the hook beats are approaching before the shot goes off. He's trying to think of plays, and I just think it would be interesting for him to say, a front on the funds. The tavern is currently empty and unoccupied. There's a lot of supplies in the basement. Because he knows that Jane will know not to go because it's infected, but hoping that he can infect.
Yeah, hell yeah! Basically trick them to going down there into the darkness.
Which is exactly what I tried to do.
Yeah.
We're made for each other, but then I can imagine a shot ringing.
Well, no. I tell you what. Go ahead and make a fast talk roll.
Because
sure.
I'm waiting till I can confirm who this is, so you've got a chance to do that.
Hang on, before you roll this, I'm
doing my sleight of hand.
Yeah, you've got the gun hidden in your place for James. You are going to need a hard fast talk roll to sell this. Miss Radcliffe, you can assist it though if you want to, because you can kind of possibly see what he's going for and give him the bonus dice.
I think I'm a stuttering mess. I have 5 in fast talk. This is just beyond.
Well, genuinely, but regular to hard is almost peanuts at this point. Like it being hard barely changes it. The bonus dice might get you within luck range if you want to try this. But hang on, Jackson. If you throw your weight behind this is going to tip again that maybe you are not on their side. And if he can see that he's making a play and you're backing him on it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
Okay. All right. Jim, give me a straight fast talk roll. You'll need a hard success.
I say it. And I
oh my god, Jim.
Oh my god.
Do you want to spend 3 what is it, 4 points of luck for a hard?
4 points of luck to get to a hard.
I'll tell you what, why don't you take 5 for an extreme?
Okay, all right. You see his eyes glimmer and he goes, he says under his breath so that only you can hear it, "Property mole, why didn't you think of that? I've got things all over this town." He buys it fully. He thinks that the wealth was always going to be somewhere. It's just not at the estate, and Mole was a fool to not recognize it. Miss Wentworth, you think he's bought this. The horse races forward. Do you want to still go forward with the shot?
If I can hear it and think he's bought it, I'm happy to just have passed all that sleight of hand stuff so that I've got it ready.
You've got it ready to go. Okay.
You could also go with the shot. I mean, 2 plans can work.
You
at
can
once.
Just shoot people.
I don't think these 2 can work. Although,
100%. If you nail one of them, the other one fades into the darkness. It's like he'll still probably go and drink himself into a stupor. And
I think if he makes to take Jane with him,
he is.
Yeah, don't like that.
So as the horse races up, here's going to be your opportunity. You get, as the horse goes firing past you, penalty dice fast, penalty dice dark, bonus dice you are hidden, bonus dice point blank. It's going to be a straight roll.
Yeah.
If you wait for the horse to go past you and rear to a stop, it's going to be penalty dice dark, but you're going to have a bonus dice on it, net, because it stops. But Miss Radcliffe is in the mix as she gets hoisted off and will be in the range of possibly being shot.
Okay, so they're planning to take her with?
They are planning to take her, yes.
Okay. I would
I'm
probably still take a
saying
shot. I'm still going
do
to take
what
a shot
they
at the guy.
say.
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot at the guy on the horse regardless then, because now the one guy remaining has this knowledge of wealth under the tavern, and also is now the balance of power will have potentially shifted, so he might cut his losses with Jane and leave.
Yeah. Okay. All right. As the horse goes flying past, I think the last roll of the session to set the tone of what it's going to become is Miss Wentworth. Can you give me a straight firearms rifle shotgun roll? Go ahead and make that attack.
Oh.
Oh shit. Okay.
On the money.
That's a connect. Let's see. Do any of you have a shotgun attached to your character sheets? Otherwise, I can get one
I do.
quickly. Do you? Did I put one on you?
I think I made it. Hang on, let's have a look.
Coming up, I haven't referenced.
No, they're slightly
Yeah, no, I
different, the
don't.
Regency one. So hang on 1 second. I'm just going to get this because I want to roll the damage because this.
I need to run to get the book.
I've got it here. All right.
Here he goes.
Shotgun fouling piece. You are at point blank. This is going to be 1d6.
Oh, he can survive 1d6.
He can survive 1d6.
Yeah, but he's also on a horse.
Guns are not as.
So can he survive 1d6 in a fall?
If you can go ahead
That'd be
and
fun.
That's all right. There's if you're on max, there's a chance at a Constitution roll. Actually.
Oh,
Okay.
major wound.
Hell yes.
Is.
I mean,
Alright.
it is a major wound, so you might knock him unconscious, right?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And a memento.
That is awesome. What
We
a
have one more
frickin-
roll.
What a shot.
Is that going to go through as GM?
Oh, rude.
The shot hits,
Still standing.
rockets through the side of his jacket, and blood splatters on the other side. The horse rears as the shot goes off and threatens to throw him off the side. Miss Wentworth, that is the shot expended from the shotgun. It is now empty. You can go to drop it, and we are going to park the session there as next session we pick right back up in combat.
I'm reloading.
That will take you 4 rounds to do so.
Sure.
But hell yeah, you can. Someone's got it. All right, fantastic. Well, seems like Miss Radcliffe or Molly Rowland's stories have collided. I suspect
Explosively.
by the end of this next combat, we might see which one is still standing. I'm not sure the two can continue to exist. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will be back same time, same place next week. We'll also be rejoined by our beloved Reverend. So, Blue. We hope we'll see you there.
Blue.
I did not mean to do that.
Also, currently happening in the vicinity, Chaosium Con
Yes.
is happening.
Yeah, really
in
soon.
the
I think
US.
it's now or tomorrow or something. I think it's
pretty
now.
well.
Time
yeah.
zones, who knows? But
No, it's
yes.
like nowish, I guess.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's
What
super
does that
exciting.
mean?
Well,
It's happening, I think.
Notably, you can check out if you're at Chaosium Con, go back to Chaosium Con. Keep doing that. If you missed Chaosium Con, don't worry. There's other Chaosiums to come, including Chaosium Con Down Under coming soon, and more importantly, you'll see a bunch of marketing releases and things like that. All kinds of interesting notes coming out on the various social media feeds.
Hell
So
yeah.
check those
Brand.
out.
Sounds fantastic. All right, well, thank you, and we hope we will see you next week. Ciao.
Mwah.